Discuss this as well as pending crisis at the border with Congressman Andy Biggs of Arizona. He is a member of the House Judiciary Committee and the former chairman of the Freedom Caucus. Andy, welcome back to the program.
Thanks, Tony. Good to be with you.
And by the way, congratulations on being recognized by FRC Action yesterday as one of the recipients of this year's True Blue Award.
Thank you. It's an honor. Appreciate it.
We appreciate your leadership on Capitol Hill. Now, you've both spoken and tweeted about Justice nominee Jackson. What are your thoughts as we continue to learn about her judicial philosophy, particularly regarding her leniency in multiple cases involving child pornography?
Well, it's a very dangerous philosophy, and it doesn't make a lot of sense, and because it undermines the statutory provisions which actually are designed to put very dangerous criminals away from the public for a period of time. And so what we found out is in at least 7 cases, in fact, every case where she had someone charged with child pornography, she granted a sentence that was not only less than the minimum sentence guidelines, but even less than what the prosecutors in the very liberal DC Circuit Court were requesting. So, for instance, you have one 18-year-old fellow, and he's got hundreds of images of little boys being molested sexually. And what she chose to do is the guidelines were for 10 years. Prosecutors were asking for 2. She gave him 3 months. And that individual had to be brought back in and was sentenced to an additional 6 months at some point after being released. The problem is we don't know why that individual was brought back in and sentenced for an additional 6 months. Did they recidivate? We just simply don't know.
So, Congressman Biggs, I mean, is this just a one-time event, or was there a pattern of her and leniency toward these types of cases?
Well, we know of 7 cases that she handled that would fit in this possession of child sexual pornography. And every one of those 7, so you have a pattern here, every one of those 7, she came in well below not just the minimum mandatory federal guidelines, but also underneath what the prosecution was requesting. And what I got to emphasize, I must emphasize this, is that these were sexual molestation of children pictures. And then what some of them included torture, and some of them included violence. And the reality is those children were victims, and these viewers of pornography were given basically a real break every time by this judge.
You know, Congressman Biggs, a lot of focus has been on the fact that she refused to define woman, which is obviously shows her it shows her hand when it comes to cases that are going to come before the court as it pertains to gender and so on and so forth, big issues for the left these days. But, you know, going to this issue of the child pornography and obscenity, the fact that Democrats are lining up to support her despite this, I mean, if we won't protect children, the most vulnerable, and of course she's also on the wrong side of the abortion issue, I mean, if we won't protect children, I mean, what will we do in terms of pursuing justice?
Well, that's why we're so concerned, because she's wrong in at least 3 big areas, and we'll leave out critical race theory for now and the social justice movement. But she's wrong on children. She's not actively going to protect children either through abortion rights and her support, basically unquestionably of abortion rights, to these children who are being abused by sexual predators, and then having that turned into pornography. So we know she's not going to protect children, but we also know she's not going to protect women, because if you can't define women and you need a biologist, then you've got a serious problem, because biology tells us very easily that a man is not a woman and a woman's not a man. But moreover, How in the world can she sit there and logically say that she's pleased and tell Dianne Feinstein that she is pleased to follow in the footsteps of wonderful women Supreme Court justices when she can't even define what a woman is? And I know that Ted Cruz put it to her and people said, oh, that was flippant. It wasn't flippant. It gets to a very real point. She's not going to protect women or children.
Yeah, absolutely. We're out of time, Congressman Biggs, but very quickly, what can people do to weigh in on this? I know it's in the Senate, but can they still weigh in?
Yeah, they have to contact every senator. Now, for instance, if you live in Arizona, you should let Mark Kelly and Kirsten Sinema know. They'll be voting on this. Wherever you live, let your senators know that she's not fit to be a Supreme Court justice.
All right, thank you, Andy, for being with us.